Out here mixing it up today. Working on the pickup truck. So, right here you can see, get the sun right, that I smashed this fender in, I think 2, possibly even 3 years ago. And I've had this, you can tell it's been sitting in the garage how dusty it is, for like pretty close to as long. I just never wanted to put it on because, well, because that. And I didn't feel like doing that. So, it's worse than it looks really. I've only been out here for a little bit, but. Would you shut it? Shut up. Shut your pie hole. Shut it. Anyways, so yeah, I'd take the headlight out in the front bezel, which really isn't that bad, but yeah, and just taking all this stuff off, the fuse block and stuff that connects the harness here, and some other stupid stuff, just a lot of little things. But another thing while I'm in here, I forget what they call it. I'm gonna do the other side too, but I got oversized tires on here, and they call it a California tuck or a Carolina tuck or something. I don't know. But this, my tire rubs here, right here on the that we call them dirty diapers, but that felt stuff that they put up in here for fender wells nowadays. But anyways, yeah, it contacts here. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'll pull this seam sealer off a little bit. I'll probably cut it here and take my hammer and just smash it down. And then also here, there's a bolt here that holds the bottom piece of the fender down, so I'll leave that. But just on the inside here, I'm gonna cut that. If you can see, cut that, cut this around here, and pretty much take that off. And then, so really all I'm removing, these guys come in here and remove all this stuff, and it's really not necessary. Just cut this up here and across here, and then make a notch here, and I'll probably tap all this stuff in. You can kind of see, I think, where the paint is coming off here is where it's rubbing. This, I was messing with the seam sealer, but even this here, this might be touching here, so I might tap that back in. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that on both sides. And as you can see, my tires stick out. I got the spacers on there, but I thought that would help with clearance, and it probably does. Right there, and whatnot. But yeah, still touching here. I'm gonna clearance this. By the way, this is an 18 Silverado with 33s, I think, overall height tires on it. So that's like as big as you can get. I actually do have a 2-inch leveling on here underneath this shock there, or strut, whatever you can call it. And yeah, and I'll probably spray that with some paint when I'm done cutting on it. Come in here with some fluid film, just fill all this in, get up in here above this on that chassis mount there, get up in here because it's a good time, obviously, while everything's off. And I want to make some homemade mud flaps potentially, because if I go through the littlest puddle, that's what my truck looks like, and it just sprays it all the way down, like every day, because my driveway is full of puddles. I got a gravel driveway, and it's just dirty every day, and I'm sick of it. So also bought that a while ago and just haven't done it because I was going to do all this at the same time. So yeah, so no more dent. So got the fender on. I'm to go over this California tuck or whatever the hell it's called. So right here in the corner, there's a little piece that I already cut out, which is that right there. just like a little triangulation piece. I cut that out, and then I cut this piece here. I cut that down to the chassis, and then all I'm gonna do is cut right in the corner here, right on the angle. Cut that. What I'll do is I'll fold the bottom part up, like, well, you won't be able to see that bolt there, and then I'm gonna smash this whole tab from here to the bottom corner in, and then I'll massage my new fender where I need it, and then that's all you really got to do. So cut that there, oops, that there, that cut right there, one little cut to the chassis, cut that corner piece out, cut down that corner to that bolt almost, or to the bolt bracket, and then you fold that bottom piece up, fold this piece in, and that's all the cutting you got to do. You ain't got to go crazy, and we'll see what that looks like. Alrighty, so did some cutting. So I did my original top cut there, and then I did what I said I was going to do, just take that corner notch out and cut down the seam there. So that's what I did originally, and then I was trying to fold this bottom tab up that's no longer there. So long story short, I had to cut that totally off right here, and then but halfway through I tried to I thought it was binding up there in the corner in the elbow there, so I made another cut here to fold this piece in a little bit more, so I could then try to hit that bottom tab up. But it just wasn't, if I'd known that before I hung my fender, I could have did it that way, but I'm not gonna mess up my fender even more for that. So I just ended up cutting it off there. I mean, it's pretty much useless anyways. So that's what it looks like. This is like flat. Let me try and get it in there. You can see like how far out it was in that top part. And I beat that whole thing flat. Yeah. So you can see, show you on this side, like the farthest point out here is the fender itself, even with a little bit of angle on it. You can see it just goes in from there. Just showing how much more clearance you have. It just goes in like this, where it's rubbing. It was rubbing about here, and it was about flat, so it was about there. You know what I mean? Let's see if this thing will focus. There you go. It was about right there, you know. So we gave it that much more clearance, because that's straight off the fender. So we gave it about that much more clearance. And I'll show you on the other side just for an example. How it's just totally flat off this fender inwards. You can kind of see the whole thing. So, and you can see a little bit doesn't rub as much on this side, but right on the end of that plastic piece right there where it's rubbing, and how it's flat with that fender. And we made quite a bit of room in there on the other side, so there should be plenty of room for this thing. Put that wheel well back in there. Well, I'm gonna spray this up, you know, with some black spray paint, whatever. Nobody's gonna see it, just to protect it. And put it back together. Well, it's the next day, but yesterday I got the fender on, and I was working on the clearance there for the wheels. Got all that done. Put back together. Like I said, I sprayed it. I went back with some fluid film and sprayed underneath all my wheel well cover. And then I was going to tell you, I put these mud flaps on there, essentially, kind of reminiscent of like a Jeep wheel guard, whatever. Just so it doesn't do this down the side. Obviously my new fender doesn't have any mud on it yet, but this and just rock chips. I mean, you can see it, you know, there and all through here. I mean, all the way down. You see it underneath the door handle there. all the way back to the rear fender. And I'll probably have to do the backs too. You can see how muddy that gets. But yeah, I bought some, well, that's right. I bought some like literal semi mud flaps off eBay, or not eBay, Amazon, whatever. And I just cut them down. It was just one big rectangle. I cut them down, and my fender there, that splash guard has a whole bunch of fasteners right there, so just took advantage of that and made just like a big mud flap there, instead of buying the whole fender flare that comes out. I don't really like how those look. Then you got to get them paint and match and stuff, and I did the same thing on this side. So there you go. Hopefully that'll at least protect the body a little bit. So of course I clearanced this side too and everything to match. Clearanced it. You can see it might still hit this one wheel well, but you can see how far I can push it back in there. So it's not going to actually hit anything. It might just touch this wheel well cover, splash guard, whatever. But it's not going to actually bind up or anything like that. So there you go. Catch you all on the flippity flop.